Good morning and welcome to the Spiral Podcast. I am your host, Cait. This is the pilot episode. Yay! Yay! Be prepared to get annoyed with that because I have this fun little sound machine is crazy. I was gonna say sound machine. I meant soundboard that has 4 noises it can make, and you will hear the shit out of these, okay? Because it's fun, it's new, it's exciting. It might quit, it might persist. So just get ready for that. But welcome to the Spiral Podcast. This is the first ever episode. This episode, I'm really just doing a rundown of what this podcast is, how it started, who I am, a little bit about me, and why you should listen. So I have, first of all, see, I don't even know where to start, okay? Even though I made a whole rubric outline guide for myself. Well, first of all, let me say I have already recorded this all once before, about 4 months ago, before summer started, and I got super busy during the summer, and I just recently went back to go edit and start getting this up, and the file corrupted. There was no noise, and I had the video on video form because I am also recording this. If you're interested, go watch it on my YouTube, Cait. But I'm also recording it, and I got the video footage, but not the actual audio file for the podcast. So that was very disappointing, but we are back in the stew. We are back in the studio. Late night in the stew. It's about 10 o'clock. Yeah, it's 10 o'clock right now. And you are probably wondering, now that I say that, why did you say good morning in the beginning? Because it is literally nighttime. It is really 10 o'clock. Well, let me give you a little explanation. So I do a series on my TikTok, Cait. Go follow it. About what I do in a day of van life when I'm traveling, because I have a van. And in the beginning of every single one, I have the same sounding good morning. And it's kind of become my thing. Like, it is now my brand. It is now who I am. It is now what I do. Like, it is one of those things that just fall under Cait on the internet. So that's just me. And I will say good morning. It could be twilight. It could be literally any time of the day. I will be saying good morning to start this podcast. And I will bet you I probably will never record in the morning unless I absolutely have to. But like, I can tell you right now, I'm not going to be that energetic right when I wake up. Like, to start the day, I have about 2 hours that I'm already doing things just to wake up. I'm a very slow riser. Now I'm gonna kind of talk about how this podcast even came about and the meaning. So the Spiral Podcast I use as kind of 2 different meanings. One being this spiral notebook I write literally everything down in, kind of like a journal. And also just the spiral of let's spiral into thoughts and feelings and funny stories and kind of what's going on in my life. So it's kind of a double meaning, kind of a play on the word, but mostly I was doing a lot of notes apps. Like, I had so many notes apps. And when I would journal, it ended up looking like a rubric. Not a rubric. I keep saying rubric. It is not a rubric. It kept looking like a podcast outline, like what you would literally create to have a whole podcast with notes and the way it was organized. And I was like, why am I not doing a podcast? Because I already had a YouTube channel and I did kind of 75. Okay. Okay, get used to that, and I really hope you guys don't mind that. I will be keeping that in. Anyways, back to what I was saying. I had a YouTube channel, I had a TikTok, I had an Instagram, and I kind of was going down the social media route, and I've always wanted to do that. Since I was a kid, I would watch YouTube. I was a YouTube kid. Like, I grew up watching Shane Dawson, Tana Mojo, why can I not Bertaley, like 7 Supergirls, watching all of the YouTube channels. Like, grew up on YouTube, and I always would make fake YouTube videos in my house, like me getting ready. Like, whenever I was doing anything, I was acting like I was recording it. That's just who I have been since day one, since elementary, bro. So I was like, fuck it, I'm 18 years old, like, I'm out of high school, I don't want to go to college, let's just, like, do stuff for fun. And I bought the van at 18. So I was like, why don't I get a YouTube channel and start doing that? So I did one video in the van with my best friend. We went on a trip. And then after that, I kind of got into 75 hard. I started creating content about 75 hard, and I realized that just wasn't for me, but you can't knock it till you try it. 75 hard, I really loved what it did to my health and to my body and to my habits, but that kind of content is just not for me. And I've always thought about having a podcast because, like, sometimes I talk to myself and I'm like, this is literally, I could create a whole podcast about this. It always went to that, but I never took the steps to, like, buy the equipment and start doing it. But now here we are taking these steps. I also, what kind of motivated me is I'm always listening to podcasts when I'm getting ready or when I'm eating. Like, when I pick a video on YouTube, it's most likely going to be a podcast, because I just love hearing people talk. If I don't have anything else to think in my head, I love to hear somebody else's thoughts and kind of like I'm there talking with them. And I want to bring that to people, and I want to kind of add into that content out here on the internet. And I am also pretty like spiritual and pretty connected to faith and pretty connected to those kind of beliefs. So I love to tie in like the gigs and the gags and the kikiing about stuff, but then kind of put a little twist on, but think about it this way. And I will have deeper conversations on here because that is just who I am to the core. Like, if you were going to hang out with me in real life, in person, you're going to get that like deeper thought every once in a while. And we're going to hone in on that because that is just who I am. I'm two sides of a coin. It's duality. That's kind of what I want to do with this podcast. And if you are watching the video version and you've kind of heard me say it, you're probably like, where is her stew? Where is her studio? Where is she set up? Baby, we are in my van. We are in the back of the van, which this is kind of what I have been known for. Oh, and by the way, I only have like 300 followers. When I say people know me for this, I do this on TikTok, like the good morning, that's just who I am. It's what I'm doing for myself. It's who I label myself as. By me saying what I'm known for, I mean like people in high school, what like the kind of girl I'm known for, whatever, on the internet, social media. Anyways, I have a van. I am 19 years old right now. I bought it when I was 18. I bought it right when I turned 18, like the week I turned 18, because I had been saving up a bunch of money since I was about 16, and I got my first job, and then I had 3 jobs for a while, and then I had 2 jobs for a while, just to really build up a bunch of money. And then I bought it right as I turned 18. I had graduated early, so I technically should have still been in high school, but I graduated a semester early. So I wasn't in high school, I was just working kind of full time, and I bought it. And I have been traveling and camping in it ever since. I do not live in my van. It is just a camper van. So I'll go on week trips at a time and then come back home and stay and then go back out and stay. And I am not traveling as much. Like, it's not every month I'm out or every couple months I'm out. I try and do now every couple months, but it's really just when I can find the time, when I can get time off. I just go and I camp in it, and we are in the back of it right now. This really shot me right into content creation, because I started doing my day in the lives of van life and like seeing people ask questions and want to know and interested in my life at all and what I'm doing with it, because it is kind of out of the norm. It really inspired me, and I attribute so much to this van. She is my baby, and I'm just so happy that that is what I chose to do with my life, and I wouldn't have had it any other way. It's a little bit more about my life currently. Now, let's take it back a little bit. So I did say I was a bit spiritual, a bit connected to faith, into that deeper thought. I had my spiritual awakening, in quotes, if you're not watching the video version, around age 16, and it has been a spiral ever since. Like, you always learn more about yourself and your self-growth, And I have one of my favorite stories to think about, like my life story and how much I've changed in literally 3 years. Wait, 16, 17, 18, 4 years. 3 to 4 years is insane to me. Like, I shock myself every day of how much I've grown, and I used to actually be so introverted and never want to talk to anybody, and now I want to yap to a camera that's gonna go to the whole world to see, like, and it brings me joy and it brings me happiness, and it's definitely part of my soul mission and what I came here to do. And that was a whole part of everything for me. For about 4 years now, I've been kind of finding faith, being connected to the higher power, and doing everything out of love, and yeah, all that good stuff. But we'll get more into that. This is just, I'm not going to go too deep into anything because, you know, I have episodes on episodes on episodes to make to really dive deep into this. But just kind of giving you an overview of why you should be watching this and what I could offer to you that could interest you. Now, some segments I want to do. I love a podcast that has a segment, especially when it's connected to the listeners. Like, I want listener submissions so bad. So one of my segments is going to be what was in your spiral today. So I am going to make a Google Doc that is going to be in the bio of wherever you're listening to this, or on my Instagram, because I am going to have a separate Instagram for this podcast, where you can submit what was in your journal today, basically. And if you want me to just, you can tell me, do you want me to just listen and laugh, or just share it, or do you want me to give some insight and try and help you, like, kind of help me with this situation, like, this happened today, yada yada, or just like bro, listen to what happened to me today, and I can be like, that is so fucking funny. And again, the duality of this podcast, it can be something super deep and super thoughtful, super spiritual, or it can be like a funny little thing that happened, and I would love to listen and share it. Kind of how this podcast started, because this is when I really got into writing down those outline looking notes apps, journaling kind of things, is I even labeled this as a segment, like, in my notes for myself. It was called High Thoughts, but like a high like hello, and then thoughts like a whore, like THOTS. And obviously, as you can tell what I said, it sounds like high thoughts, like schmokin' thoughts, which it was. Which I just loved the little play on words, and I almost named this podcast that, but I like the spiral better, a lot better. But yeah, I want that to be a little segment of like, hey, by the way, I was high when I did this, and this is just funny Caitlin high thoughts. Or maybe there will be some special episodes where I might indulge and I might have a live high thoughts, you know? We will see. That's kind of a question mark. I put a question mark by that because you guys let me know, because it's not all about me. Y'all let me know what you want. But I really want to do what was in your spiral segment. So hopefully I get submissions. Probably the first few to 10 of these episodes are probably not gonna have any submissions. But how funny, I might ask people in my life to give me like, what was your spiral? And be like, hey, this is my friend, da da da, and this was in her spiral today. I would love that. I don't really think I have much else to say. I know this first one is a bit short. This first episode is a bit short, and I would like them to be longer, but this is kind of a just get to know me episode and get to know what this podcast is. I think that is all I have to say to you. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram. The Instagram for this podcast is The Spiral with Cait, and my personal Instagram is cait.ayers, AYERS. Go ahead and follow me on YouTube. It's Cait Ayers. TikTok, Cait.ayers. Follow me everywhere to keep updated. Yeah, there will be a video version on YouTube and the audio version anywhere you listen to podcasts. Thank you so much for tuning in to this first pilot episode. I hope you tune back in to many more. We will spiral more into it into the next episode. Love you guys. Bye.